This is the Eye for an Eye channel. Welcome to today's show. I've wanted to cover this topic for a while, and after obviously some of the comments I made in my previous video about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, if you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend it. I feel like it's an important video, and it's one of the better videos I've done recently, even though I think a lot of the videos I've done recently are good. I just felt something clicking while I was doing it, almost like, somebody would say when they get on some type of a roll. So definitely check that video out. But you may have heard some of the innuendos that I made in regards to Taylor Swift, like calling Taylor Swift a good little boy or cute little boy or whatever, right? And you all know what I'm talking about in regards to the Adam's apple, etc. And I wanted to talk about that topic. I don't often talk about that topic. I've obviously talked about it when it comes to Michelle Obama in the past. If anyone remembers, those are long scrubbed. I don't even know where to find those videos, but of course that's bullying and harassment when you do it. Now there's a lot of YouTubers who have channels that specifically point out all these celebrities in Hollywood and how the men are women and women are men. Now, we all know we live in an inverted society. Do I agree with those notions? Yes, I do agree with those notions. Do I do videos covering those topics? For multiple reasons I don't. Number one is that it doesn't fascinate me or interest me in breaking down a person's physical build and their Adam's apple and everything else. It just doesn't interest me. I wouldn't be able to record a video, pay attention to it long enough to want to talk about it. The things I cover are things that I'm passionate about, that I feel led to cover, just like those people who cover those topics feel led to cover those topics, right? I wouldn't be able to get into a deep, detailed debate about a lot of these things because I don't study it long enough. I study a lot of different things in regards to the anatomy, but this isn't one of them. The male anatomy and the female anatomy is not one of them. However, I do agree that the majority of these people, if not all that we see, are actually inverted and the opposite of what we're told. Now, what I want to cover is what would the agenda behind that be? Because people seem very confused by this. Why would they make all the men women and women men? That a lot of people don't understand. Now, when it comes to a lot of the athletes that a lot of people claim are one or the other, I don't necessarily know. I just know in sports like football, obviously somebody with a woman's build is going to break their body because men are built differently than women. Of course, science in today's society disagrees with that. Of course it does, conveniently. They like to pretend like women would be fine going out there playing a men's sport. 99% of the time, a man is going to beat a woman in a sport. I don't care how trained you are, especially a physical sport. Men are just built bigger. That's why the majority of disputes that you hear when they're domestic related, it's a man doing something to a woman is pretty much victimized by the man because the man's normally bigger. Now, that doesn't mean that a woman can't beat up a specific man, especially the men in today's society, okay? We see the men out there who aren't really men. They're pretty much acting like women, and they're very weaklings. Have you seen the clothes they sell these days for men? Like skinny jeans and these tight clothes. I can't even believe men are fitting in these outfits, but it's more the better for the majority of us out there when we see these weak men, because when crap hits the fan, these guys are going to be able to do nothing. Not only will they be unarmed, they'll be unable to defend themselves. I don't care how many times a week they go to the gym. When you're weighing 100 pounds and you're as scrawny as a string bean, you're not going to be able to take out people such as myself. So that being said, I do believe that a lot of these are obviously male to female, female to male, whatever you want to call it, that they're role reversed, right? I've talked about an inverted world. Everything's backwards. There's a lot of this all goes back to Aleister Crowley, the law of reversals, right? Doing things backwards. Well, the things that we see and perceive as truth are not truth. So why would they do this? Let me get to that point. The reason for this is very obvious to me, and it should be obvious to most out there. They are doing this because they are attracting straight men to women who are actually men, and vice versa. These people in Hollywood have way far advanced technology from the standpoint of how they could make somebody who is the opposite gender look the way that they look. Now, we all have a different perception of what men are supposed to look like and what women are supposed to look like because they're trying to mix it into one and the same. You see all these men that now put makeup on and pretty themselves up to look like what we perceive women are supposed to look like. This is done by design, of course, with all of these things they've put into our society like Botox. You see these women like these desperate housewives, who some of which would be naturally pretty women who just beat themselves up thinking that they're, like, oh, I got a wrinkle, I got to look younger. They don't realize they look like mutants. They look like straight up mutants. And a lot of women end up getting sucked into this even though they're actually beautiful beforehand. And then after the fact, they're like, look, don't I look pretty? And you're like, no, your lips, it look like you got stung or walked into a beehive and about 1 trillion bees stung you in the lips. What's going on here? They don't seem to get it because, of course, they're doing these things because the media is telling them these things. They're planting these seeds in their heads. They're just under full-on mind control. It's an assault on people's minds. how they perceive themselves, what they can and cannot say, how they dress, what they need to look like. This is all done by design. This all leads to the BAPH0MET world order. So what they do is they make these women that we're told are hot and sexy, right? What do you think the point is of all this stuff? It's more than idol worship when it comes to sexiest man alive on a magazine cover. The other way around, right? The magazine covers, like the Sports Illustrated swimsuit, right? The hottest women, they tell us, but they're really men. They do this stuff deliberately because, one, they want you to be attracted to the opposite gender. Okay? They want you to be attracted to it. And two, it starts breaking walls in your mind. Because as this continues on, they're going to start revealing that these people are the opposite gender. I can guarantee you that. I can guarantee you that. They will start doing that. And then somebody who's a straight male who is attracted to, let's use an example of Taylor Swift, right? Even though I don't see what could be, that to me, I mean, what's attractive about it, I don't get it, but that's fine. If that's your preference and you're a woman, I mean, if you're a woman and you like guys that look like that, because let's be real, Taylor Swift's got an Adam's apple. You can't see it. I mean, there's features you could tell if a guy is a guy and a woman's a woman, right? And again, you could look at the physical builds as well, the hands, etc. So they want to make straight men attracted to other men, right? So they're making men attracted to what they think are females. And then when they find out that they're really men, they're going to say, look, what's the big deal? You were attracted to Taylor Swift. She revealed herself as a man. What's the big deal? Why is it a big deal? You were attracted to her. So that means you're either gay or whatever. And it continues to break down the construct of gender. That's the point. The flip side with women, right? Women are attracted, say, to Justin Timberlake, right? I mean, I'm sure he falls on the list because this is a puny feminine guy. The majority of these musicians are all, very feminine. Even the ones who portray like hardcore rock and rollers, like Marilyn Manson, we're supposed to be afraid of. Ooh, he wears black lipstick. Oh, he's gothic. I mean, couldn't be a punier person, right? We look at them and we're supposed to be intimidated by them, but it's quite the opposite. At least for me, it is. And I'm sure the majority of people listen to my channel because we all seem to be on the same page with these types of things. So the women out there are going to realize that some of the men that they're attracted to, and it's because they're pumped through your mind over and over, they're put on pedestals. These are all things they do. They know how mind control works, so they subliminally do this, and then they put them on covers of magazines, Sexiest Man Alive, Brad Pitt, that kind of a thing, right? And all these women, they don't realize that these are actually the opposite, and they've gone through these surgeries. Now, they make these things more normal now, like whatever the actor's name is, or actress, from Juno. Remember those videos that I did in the past? I mean, another YouTuber about Ellen Page. Ellen Page switched genders to Elliot Page and was on a magazine cover completely shirtless with no breasts anymore, okay? And people are like, how did they do that? How did they do that? Because it's a more advanced surgery. They're just normalizing it more in the open. Like, oh, the celebrities, they have the money, they can get more advanced. And continues, right? The hormone therapy, all these things are normalizing with kids. There's going to be other veils that are lifted. And when they start lifting the veils on these types of things where, just say hypothetically there's a guy, a 20-year-old guy has I don't even think people have posters anymore, but just say he fantasizes, he lusts over Kim Kardashian, right? Well, and he's obsessed. Oh, Kim Kardashian, he thinks he's a straight male. Then they tell you that Kim Kardashian is really a dude. Now, this isn't from our perspective as people who are awake and get it. This is from a zombie's perspective. Then that zombie is suddenly going to start questioning his sexual preference. It'll be like, I was attracted. Wait a minute. So I guess, everybody else seems to be on board. And I was attracted to Kim Kardashian, who's now Kevin Kardashian. And I guess maybe I'm really gay. Or what's the difference? What do we need gender names for? Kim's born a boy but identifies as a woman and had the gender cert or whatever. Okay, fine, I'm in on it, right? Because they confuse people so much. They're already doing that, confusing people so much by convincing people of all these things, telling them that they're born this way when they're not born that way. What do you think it's going to be like when they start revealing these things? And if you're out there and you're like, they'll never do that. They'll never do that. Yeah? Are you one of the people who was saying they'll never do that 5 years ago when I was saying that they won't do that? All these things that we've all talked about, it's not just me, that we've all discussed, have come to fruition. They've revealed these things, and they're going to continue to reveal these things. So something when it comes to the gender, people are like taken aback because they're like, wait a minute, I hear guys all the time like, I don't believe in all that stuff. It's because they don't want to believe it. Because they might have been attracted to one of these people, or they might currently be attracted to one of these people. That's why you can't idol worship. You can't look at these BAPH0MET worshipers because they're literally BAPH0METs. They're both genders. They're chopping themselves and inverting their genders or doing the vice versa. and implanting these things in, or whatever they do from a female to turn into a male. I have no idea, how this goes. I don't know. I only know John Bobbitt and what he went through, right? And back then when John Bobbitt had it happen to him, he was the laughing stock of the world and everybody was sympathizing with John Bobbitt. Now they're telling you your 5-year-old needs to be Bobbittized. So to me, it's all insane. I don't know what the procedure is for a woman. I guess they staple them on or sew them on. I mean, it's all just pure insanity. I mean, I can't even address these things or look into what they do for the surgeries because it's embracing utter insanity. So when it comes to the genders and the flipping and the inversion of the genders, if you're new to all this stuff, there's many people out there that talk about this stuff every single day. They have channels devoted to it. And again, that's perfect. People are like, well, why don't you cover it? Why don't they cover some of the stuff I cover? Why doesn't this guy cover that? Why would everybody cover the same thing? Not everybody feels drawn to cover the same topics. There's so many things that we can talk about. There's so much evil in this world. And there's so much inversion in this world, right? So other people cover this stuff if you're not aware. They cover how these people are the opposite. You could study it for days, hours, weeks on end. These people do videos every day on it. And that's perfectly fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm saying if you want to learn this stuff, you can go and see that for yourself. But it's pretty obvious if you actually understand how the wicked work, why they be doing it, how they're doing it. Now, again, when it comes to athletes and stuff, I'm sure the people who cover these topics have explained in thorough detail how the female athlete, are playing male sports like football. I'm sure there's an explanation for it. I perfectly would understand it and believe it with the technology that they have. So these are things that we all need to be aware of, right? It's a topic I don't always cover, but I obviously always make reference to it in my videos by cracking jokes about, how hung this girl is, vice versa, whatever, because it's so in our faces that they are. And the reason for it's very simple for anyone that doesn't get it. It's very simple. They want you attracted to the opposite gender. And they're going to just continually make people confused and attracted to the opposite gender. But you're not going to realize it until they start revealing it to you. So you're going to think you're a heterosexual male and you're attracted to Pam Anderson, Kim Kardashian, whoever it is, okay? Whoever the person might be, Taylor Swift, right? And then when it's revealed that they're the opposite, what is that person going to do? Off themselves? I mean, maybe. What are they going to do? They're going to probably start accepting the fact that this is normal because it's been beaten into their heads over and over and over about, gender constraints. Oh, being attracted to one gender is not normal anymore. You need to be pan, you need to be bi, you need to be this. And then they'll eventually just accept it because they'll be like, I guess I'm one of them too. I guess I am one because I was attracted to so-and-so forever, or all these women forever, and they turned out they weren't really women, right? You see how it works? That's what's going to be the next wave of this stuff that comes. They're going to pull the rug out from underneath these straight people and tell them that they were liking the wrong gender. And then it's okay, though. It's okay. And those people will be like, yeah, it is okay. I guess I am. And eventually there's not going to be gay and straight. All those things are going to be stripped, just like there's going to be no men and women. BAPH0MET world order, right? What's the BAPH0MET? BAPH0MET's, you know what they worship? The goat with breasts and a penis, right? These freaks worship the BAPH0MET, okay? It's going to be a society like that. All restraints are going to be removed. All these restraints that they look at as restraints, when it's just really just common sense to common people with brains. Yes, that's a man, that's a woman. How do I know? Oh, I don't know. One's got a penis, one's got a vagina. Oh, well, they have pants on. How do you know now? Oh, I don't know. The manly features on it. Huh? Oh, this one's got a beard. Well, that doesn't make it a man. Oh, it doesn't? Okay. Oh, yeah, sure. And I'm Ronald McDonald. I mean, it's utter insanity to even address the stuff that they say, but they want to, in your mind, that's why I always talk about psychological war. They want to break down all these things that they look at as walls and constraints in people's minds that keep, this satanic world order away from being the normal world order. So they're normalizing all these satanic agendas by doing these things, each individual thing. And remember, I've said it before. I have tons of videos. I'll probably re-upload some on my other backup channels, so make sure you're sub to those, about oneness. John Lennon, right? The world will live as one. One is a key term you always hear, but you'll probably let go over your head. There's thousands of songs about one, thousands of lyrics, and everyone's like, oh, we'll be one. Me and my girlfriend are going to be one. They're singing about me and my girlfriend. We're not two anymore. We're one. Two is one. They're talking about a one world order, a one world government. Everything will be as one under the rule of the Antichrist. There will be no genders. There will be none of this stuff. And you will all be falling into compliance with the beast system. That's what they want. That's what this is about. So just to cover the topic, a couple of people asked me about it today. A couple of people asked me about it. Yes, I mean, I just get asked about it all the time. And it's pretty obvious at this point, And again, if there's something that interests you, you can look up other channels to talk about it. I'll crack jokes about it all the time, but I'm not going to do breakdowns individually of, I'm not going to be staring at Elliot Page's chest and giving you a breakdown of this and a bulge in the pants there. I'll mention it in videos if I'm covering the topic and I see it. But, other people could do that. And again, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't, whatever somebody's interested in covering, they should be allowed to cover. Just like, I cover these topics that I want to cover. So obviously this system is all messed up. Everything is inverted. So be careful. Don't worship these women that claim to be women who are men and vice versa. They're false idols, and they're all there specifically for a reason. The people who are in these positions, the celebrities, look at them as somebody who doesn't have a brain in their skull, because they don't. They've been mind controlled. They've been through trauma-based mind control and abused, etc. They're on autopilot just as much. They don't know right from wrong. They've been abused since they were kids, and they've been put in these positions. Don't feel sympathy for them either. I don't, because they're the ones out there grooming everybody else's kids. So I don't feel sympathy for them. But they're doing this not even really knowing, because the people in power are the ones who are controlling them and putting them out there, making them famous, doing the abuse to them, putting them out, telling you that this is this and that is that, and you need to vote this way or think that way, dress this way or dress that way. And eventually tell you, hey, you know what? There are no men or women anymore. Oh, you used to be attracted to Kim Kardashian. Well, guess what? She's got a wang, so I guess you're gay. Oh, I guess I am gay now. Oh, I better accept all this stuff because I'm a weird, what? Confusion here, confusion there, confusion this, confusion that. That's what it's about. It's a messed up, effed up world that they're creating, and we're living it. So just stay on your toes and be aware of this stuff. I thank everyone for being here. Hope this rant explained it. I mean, easily for people out there. It's a good laugh, I guess, sometimes. It's funny to laugh. I mean, you see these people and they're drooling over them and they don't even know. And again, you could give me an example of each person and they'd be like, I don't really think this person is. All right, that's fine. I mean, I can't really give you a breakdown. I don't know the history of surgeries with the stuff they could do now. They could clone people, okay? So they could clearly zap off and put in whatever body parts they want. You could obviously see from Adam's apples and those things, but I don't go through each one and look because I don't worship these people. I don't really care about, I know what the agenda is. You know what I mean? I know what they're trying to do. I know what the oneness agenda means, and I know psychologically what they're doing, the damage that they're doing to people, especially when they reveal stuff like that. And straight men suddenly who are complete zombies, straight men, who are okay with all the agendas, are just like, I'm okay with this person liking that person. It's just, I'm not into that. And then they'll find out that they are into it, and they've already been conditioned to accept it. So they'll be like, okay, I guess I'm a flamer. Yep, sure are. Thank everybody for being here. Please make sure you sub to my backup channels. And again, join uprisingrevival.com if you haven't yet. At least sign up for free videos so I can hit you with email blasts so you know where I am, where I'm uploading. And if crap hits the fan, I'll be able to contact you directly. Okay, so it's not like people are like, oh, it's not really a personalized email. Well, if you get an email from me, it's not like I have a million emails. Okay, I have thousands of emails because I've been doing this for thousands of years, really, even though I'm a new YouTuber. But it's a good way to stay in touch. I will reach out to people when crap hits the fan, so I recommend you do that. But I highly recommend you join the website. I have new content up over there today about people who are testing negative but are being told they're positive, and these imbeciles are literally believing this because they came up with an excuse for them to believe it. I mean, they're so dumbed down. It's absolutely embarrassing. We can't even consider these people human at this point. So hope to see you over there. Thanks for being here, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I always love the comments, so feel free to comment. I see pretty much all of them, the majority of them. I try to comment on some of them, but you guys make me laugh with a lot of the stuff when you guys troll the celebrities too, just the same way that I do. So hope to see more comments and more people here. Thanks again, everybody. God bless all of you as always, and your families.